All right, welcome to another episode of the Austin Pod. I'm Anthony, the ATX drinker. I review bars and cocktails in Austin, Texas. This is Rachel from 512 Bites, and Rachel lately. She is the best foodie in Austin, Texas. I'm just going to say that every episode now. It's just
Not
the way.
every episode. You're going to get me canceled.
So, what's interesting about today is we are reshooting this episode because last week we actually shot 2 episodes and they both got deleted. So we're reshooting them, but it's okay because we did weekend 1 of ACL Festival and weekend 2 of ACL Festival, and we have a lot to talk about. So today's going to be the ACL 2024 recap video.
Yes. Before we get to that, I just wanted to bring up this one piece of news that I feel like really pissed off a lot of the whole city or anyone who goes out, you know. Outer Heaven announced that they are closing within 6 months. This really pissed me off. I feel like Outer Heaven is one of those places that felt like old Austin. It felt like how Barb's felt to me like 12 years ago. Just like, yes, it would get packed on weekends, but it still had that like local feel and not super touristy vibes. And I don't know, the staff was always friendly. I like that there was a place in the back to chill away from the music. Music was always on point. The owner is one of the few people in Austin who's not one of these like big wigs with a lot of money who owns like most of 6th Street. So he wrote this whole post on Instagram. You can check it out on the Outer Heaven Instagram page where he pretty much goes off about how like capitalism wins again and is the reason that their location is going to be sold to basically another condo place going up in Austin.
Yeah, to me, they were in the top 3 of best places to go after midnight.
Yes.
It was always lively. They kind of like were the definition of keep Austin weird because everybody there is like, you know, just being themselves, dancing the night away, no worries in the world. And it was like them, Barbarella, The Cut is another place that stays open late. And I wanted to do a top 5, but I didn't have enough places that I thought were amazing, like Outer Heaven really is.
They were open till 3.
I think 3 or 2. Pretty late. Yeah, it might have been 3.
Damn. Yeah, I did not see this coming. Especially I reached out to the other businesses around Outer Heaven, like King Bee, Skinny's, and Trona. And I asked like, hey, I know y'all are close to this building or it's in some cases attached to it. Are y'all planning to leave as well? And they said no. They were like, no, our landlord is great. We have no plans to leave, which confused me because I thought Trona was like literally right next to it.
Yeah, I think it is right next to it. And they just opened a year ago.
I know.
So they would have told them, like, you know, unless they're just building something on the corner there or I don't know.
Yeah, I'm very confused by how it's only Outer Heaven being affected by this. King Bee, whoever runs their social, said there might be more to the story. We don't know details. I guess we'll find out in a couple months or so.
Well, that's the good news, right? Is that they're still going to be open for 6 months, I believe.
Yes.
So I would definitely go. If you're just hearing about this, you have to experience Outer Heaven. I hope they find a new place maybe.
Yeah, me too. And who knows, like maybe over the next 6 months, business will be so good that the landlord changes their mind.
Yeah.
I feel like that happened with Egos or something happened with Egos where they were supposed to close and then they were like, just kidding.
Yeah, they had a plumbing issue that they said the landlord wasn't going to fix and they were going to like sell the place or something.
That's so dramatic.
I know.
Like, oh, we got a leaky faucet.
Sorry.
Close it down, shut it down. No, I'm sure it was worse than that. But I was happy to see Egos was staying. I hope the same happens for Outer Heaven. They opened in 2021, and it's very rare that a post-COVID place like really makes a huge impact on not only Austin, but even old Austin loves it. So I was really sad about that news, and I hope they find a new place to go
Fingers crossed.
or that they pull through.
Yeah.
But yeah, switching gears, we are going to be talking about our ACL Fest experience and funny stories. Maybe we're going to talk about like the comparison between GA plus, VIP, and then me and Anthony had 2 very different experiences that are brand new to ACL this year that our poor asses could never afford, but we thankfully were able to experience them for the first time. So yeah, day one for me, I got put in a bungalow in near the Honda stage. I found out it's $30,000 for 10 people to be put in a bungalow, and you get a sweeping view of like the whole festival. But really, you only get to hear like the Honda stage, and I could actually hear the Miller Lite stage too. So that was interesting. It was very bougie, but they had private bars up there that never had a line, unlimited snacks, portable chargers for your phone. And then obviously you still get access to the other VIP areas around the fest with that wristband. But $30K for 10 people.
So I do have two thoughts on it. One, I don't know if I would do it, obviously. But when you break it down, 10 people, $3,000 a person. Now, let's just say you want to do GA. We're looking at like 400. And then how many drinks you spend, how much food you spend, which we got all the drinks included. Maybe you're going to spend like $1,000 for the 3 days. So an extra $2,000 for like your own private area if you can get 10 people to join you and you guys have money, I think it's worth it. If you're like us, I mean, I don't know if I have just $3,000 to blow just for one of the stages. So yeah, it's tough, but to me, it was a wild experience.
I feel like even if you have the money, I don't know if it would be worth it because you don't have access to the food areas and the other stages. Like there was a family right next to us, and it was clearly a CEO and his wife and their sons who brought like 6 of their friends. It was a bunch of teenage boys. And we saw those boys maybe like for Benson Boone at the Honda stage. So like one act and then...
Oh, you were on the other... I was mixing up the stages, so I was at the other stage.
Yes, you were at the other one.
Okay.
And then they were just gone the rest of the whole festival, like as they would, they're teenage boys.
Yeah.
But even the CEO and his wife, like it was during when Blink-182 went up against Chris Stapleton and the husband and wife were like, all right, well, we're going to the other stage.
Wow.
And there's no bungalows at the Amex stage, the main stage. That we'll find out is a totally different arena. But yeah, I was just like, you paid so much to be here and you only really caught like 2 acts here.
Yeah.
So I personally don't think it's worth it in that sense. But if you plan to just sit your ass down and watch the Honda stage the whole experience, then sure, it could be worth it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why I say it's like this weird thing. If you have money and you are willing to blow it, then it's worth it. So like to kind of go into my experience, first off, shout out to T-Mobile because I didn't realize this. You know, a lot of times we do deals with brands and you're like, cool, check it out. This was one where I did it and now I'm going to be a customer because I was so impressed. And I found out that the T-Mobile VIP section behind the T-Mobile stage is actually for all customers. You just have to wait in line. Yeah, so I thought that was like some type of VIP thing. So yeah, just for being a customer, you can go there.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of annoyed that whatever marketing they put money into like did not make it well known that, hey, if you are a T-Mobile customer, you can come back here. Because I've been a T-Mobile customer for over a decade and did not know that. So
how crazy.
I'm like, that's sick as hell.
Yeah, so that came with like a side view of the stage. They had their own bar area. They had air-conditioned bathrooms.
What the hell?
People were just like going there to relax.
That better be there next year.
Yeah.
I will be there.
So I was doing that partnership with them, which was awesome. And then the girl was like, oh, also we have 3 Cabana passes. And I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing, which is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for me and Kelsey. And come to find out, so they bought a Cabana, which I originally thought was just one of the bungalows. But then later, after like looking more into it, a Cabana is more for like big corporate, I guess, like lounge areas. And it's up to like 50 people or something. You can fit, but there was like only 15, 20 people in our area.
Like per Cabana?
Per Cabana, yeah. You can like give them tickets out. And it's a huge area. And it came with a full buffet. Oh, by the way, it's $110,000 to get one of them. So
wait,
like
what?
T-Mobile would probably pay that
for one area?
For one area.
Or the whole thing?
The whole Cabana.
Oh, just one Cabana.
One Cabana.
How many Cabanas are there?
There was, I think, 3 or 4 up top. So all the bungalows that you saw, like make that only 3 or 4 sections.
Wow, so that's like super exclusive.
Yeah. So it's almost like 3 bungalows.
How much, Matt? How much would that be per person if they wanted to split it?
I know, because I remember if it was 50 people or more people. I would need to know like the exact number.
Okay,
But like I said, I think they just do it so
that's sick as hell.
like Giant Noise was next to us, and they're a big PR brand, and they like to thank their clients. They will be like, yeah, you're invited, and they'll just give them passes.
Dude, I would have killed to be in one of those cabanas. Like again, the bungalows were amazing, and I'm so glad I saw Blink 182 from up there. But to see Chappell Roan at the cabana by the Amex stage,
That's what we did.
that was so sick. Because the view to see her, like, oh my gosh, almost impossible. Like people were asking me, how early should I get to Chappell
I just
Roan?
got chills because it was such a cool moment to see her and like be in
Oh
that
my
spot.
gosh. Yeah. We'll get to day 3 in a bit, but loved her.
Yeah. So also, I didn't realize this, but the Cabanas, I don't know if the bungalows did, but the VIP, and then also when you came into the festival, we were able to skip the entire line. It was not VIP. We got to walk like through the side gate.
Oh.
And then we hopped on a golf cart, and they rode us around to the cabana.
Oh my gosh.
And we go in. There's never actually every time I went into the air conditioned bathroom, there was only ever one other person, or I was by myself in there.
Yeah.
So that was amazing. And then on the top floor, a full buffet. You said the bungalows were like snacks and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Y'all got actual food.
Yeah, there was
so
a Top Chef buffet.
Dude, that would have been sick. We were at my bungalow because we didn't the first day, we didn't really go anywhere because all our favorite acts were right there at the Honda stage. We were surviving off snacks. And then by the end of the night, we were like, we're starving. Like, we need protein.
It was kind of funny because Chappell came on and all the girls were dancing and stuff. And I
you were
look
like-
over, Kelsey and me were just eating chicken like off the bone. But we were so hungry when we got there because we just got there before she came on.
Oh, wow.
That day, yeah. So, but it was like top food. And it's funny because I was at Still Austin the week before ACL and was talking to a Texas chef who's like really big in Texas. And then she said she had to go and prepare it. And she said she had to make so much food for like all the tents that she was like hiding stuff around Austin in the city. She was asking like other restaurants, hey, do you have room in your freezer? Because I need to like put this food somewhere.
Wow.
And then had to show up, cook it in the morning, and then they gave it out to everyone. But
Yeah, working ACL, if you're a food vendor, it's actually so hard. Like they're 15-hour days, and the amount of prep that goes into it, like it's unreal. And I always feel bad because people are like, this sucks. Like this food sucks. And I'm like,
it's hard.
it's hard to get like fresh food like at those tents in 100-degree weather. Like I give them mad respect, but I do always tell people like, hey, this is just like a little preview of their food. Like you should actually go to their either restaurant pop-up or food truck. It's very different.
Yep.
So yeah, for day 1, what were your like favorites? Do you remember?
Oh, see, I went all 6 days, so my head is like blending everything in my head. What was day 1?
I'll tell you mine and it'll spark your memory. Foster the People, Blink 182 was what I ended on because I got to relive like my millennial middle school nostalgia era and it was sick as hell. And then we caught Elderbrook and Porter Robinson at the Miller Lite stage. So
Okay, so yeah, I saw Porter 2, which was amazing. Always love him. I saw Barry Can't Swim weekend 1, day 1.
oh, nice.
And now I'm like a huge fan of him. The last like week and a half, I've been listening to him when I went to the gym, when I was driving my car.
He's like the new Lane 8 apparently.
Yeah, he gives me like Lane 8 vibes, even a little bit of Fred again. But he also has his own sound. So if
that.
you're into that vibey stuff, I was blown away by him.
I was in a previous episode of ours with our ACL predictions. I said for EDM acts, I was like, check out Barry Can't Swim and Teddy Swims. And then I was like, why did I say Teddy Swims? Because he is not EDM. And I got them
I missed
confused.
I missed Teddy Swims both weekends because I went in late.
Both weekends.
weekends.
I thought your second weekend you were going to go in earlier because you had
was.
friends in town.
Well, it was, exactly. And then with the Cabana thing, that just screwed it up. So I didn't hang out with my friends like at all.
Oh, you were like, screw y'all, I'm going to the Cabana.
I was just relaxed. I sat like the whole second weekend because of that.
Dude, I'm so jealous.
And then like last Sunday, I had to go do that Patron Green Room thing, which was cool. We got to see Dasha. She sings that song that's like, when your boots, or if your boots aren't work. I don't know the lyrics. It's terrible.
I get what you mean, but her song's about Austin?
It is.
Or is it just called Austin?
It's about a story in Austin. Like she was visiting, met this guy.
But then I read an article that she had never been to Austin before
Oh, God.
this ACL Fest.
Well, that's what was funny is
I'm like, who wrote this song?
it did
It
sound
wasn't
very
you.
typical. Yeah, because then she was like, oh, and I have this other song coming out soon about this guy I met in LA. And I'm like, oh, girl, don't say that here.
Oh no, yeah, for real. And then I read that she actually wrote that song about a story that happened in Nashville, but that it didn't rhyme. Like it
Interesting.
didn't sound as
Oh,
catchy.
she's getting canceled because of the Austin pod.
Again, this is just shit I read on the internet, which we all know is factual all the time.
All the time. But no, we saw her at the green room and she was like the sweetest person, at least from what she was performing.
Oh, nice.
And then after that, it was Sunday. So we were like, we can go into the fest at like 3 or we can go get an IV. And we went to get an IV on South Congress, which was really cool.
Which one?
IV. Oh man, I'm blanking. But it wasn't paid for, so we don't have to shut them out anyway.
Yes, we do. We're trying to support these small businesses.
Well, there's actually another place I go. It's called Ageless Men. And
Oh, I've been there.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Which is funny. There's a lot of girls that go there when I'm there, which is
Really?
yeah.
Why is it called Ageless Men?
Because I think they also do like testosterone and stuff. So that's how
okay.
they started.
Okay.
But they do the IV bags and everything.
Okay.
And now
I've never done that.
they're closed on Sunday, so I didn't go there. That's why I went to the other one.
Okay.
So it was my second time doing it. I'm not gonna lie. You know, it's hard to really feel like you don't feel like, oh, I'm amazing now.
Yeah.
But I didn't have a bad hangover the next day. I felt like I could still like go to the gym, so I think it worked.
Do they stick a needle in your arm?
Yeah, and then it pumps into your vein. Kelsey was like freaking out.
I'm the same way. I've never done that, and that's why.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean?
So I think people should do it though. I mean, but the problem is it's like 150.
What?
Yeah.
For how long?
It's like a half an hour.
Oh my gosh.
It's a
I did
lot.
not know that.
It's like rich people
That's
stuff.
crazy.
So if it wasn't for this week, I wouldn't have done it. But I
Fair.
felt like, it was worth it. And then, so we did that from like 3 to 4:30. And Kelsey was like nervous about getting a needle put in her arm. So we took a shot at, White Tiger on South Congress, which I'm like, we're doing the thing.
To thin the blood even more
Exactly.
before sticking a needle in her arm. That's crazy.
And then we went home because I ended up getting a jean jacket from the Patron party. They gave us a black jean jacket. It was cool. And then we had to drop that off. And then we get to the festival at like 6:30. And then we
For
saw
Chappell?
Yeah, for Chappell.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, doing a little backtrack, getting on to day 2 was Saturday, and I personally had a late start to the day, but not by choice. It was my friend. My friend was having a little pregame, and they mentioned we were going to leave by 3:30, and I was like, okay, cool, just enough time to catch Teddy Swims, because he has been like a big favorite this weekend, and I was excited. We got to the back entrance, also known as the Ladybird entrance, the west entrance, where you have to cross underneath the Mopac pedestrian bridge to get to it. There has never been a line there for me.
It's always the way to go.
Yeah, apparently not anymore, or at least the time I got there. And it was chaos, like just a big crowd, no rhyme or reason. Like there was no order, there was no set lines. I hated it. And we were like in that line, I swear, for like 30 minutes. And I was like, this is not how it's supposed to be.
What if everybody listened to the Austin pod?
That's BS.
For the tips.
That's BS. Absolutely not. I will not blame myself.
Because Barton Springs wasn't that bad this year.
Yeah, it really wasn't.
It wasn't.
Yeah, I was pissed. I was like, is this my own doing? And then we got in and immediately like pretty much caught the last song maybe of Teddy Swims.
Oh, wow.
And I was just like, all right, well, that plan went to shit.
I know, that sucks.
But thankfully I did get to see Benson Boone on Saturday, Jungle, which were they were amazing. I started with Pretty Lights because Pretty Lights went against Dua Lipa, and I was actually kind of unimpressed.
Okay.
I don't know if maybe I just saw the first 10 to 15 minutes of Pretty Lights and gave up. I was like, I'm going to Dua Lipa because everyone was at Dua Lipa and I knew she was going to be amazing. But her set was so packed, I couldn't get a good view either. But apparently I left before Pretty Lights got really good.
A lot of people were also raving about Benson Boone.
Oh, he was so good. I think he was my third favorite set of the entire weekend.
You're not the first person to say that.
Yeah, and he's such a little cutie. And then someone told me he's like 22, and I was like, oh.
No way. Wow.
I know.
Yeah, because he just blew up recently off that TikTok song.
Yes. I liked everything he played. I thought his vocals were amazing. His stage presence was great. I really hope he goes far. You know what you hate when like, well, you don't hate it, but sometimes artists go far and are big names, but like they don't have like the best vocals you've ever heard. But Benson Boone like really killed it. I looked at his Instagram right after he performed, and he was like, "Oh, I felt like I headlined ACL. Like that was so special. And thank y'all so much." Like he was so grateful
Super
and happy, and
He's
I
one of
loved
those
him.
people that I'm like, is he going to be a one-hit wonder because of that song? But like you said, if he's going to go out and put on performances like this, that's going to help his career.
I know. I hope not. I read somewhere that it's easy to become famous. It's harder to stay famous. And I totally get that because it's hard to like keep people's attention.
I mean, I was just talking that with Kelsey. We were talking about Dasha. So she had that song Austin. She blew up. Now she's on festival lineups. But now is the second hardest thing. Like, if you don't come back with a hit in the next year or two,
Yeah.
you will be a one-hit wonder.
Oh, 100%.
Right?
I was looking at old lineups of ACL Fest. Most specifically my first ACL Fest in 2012, and I was just looking at the lineup just for nostalgia purposes, and I was like, wow, a lot of these people are not relevant anymore, or some had a one-hit wonder like Gautier.
Yeah.
That one stuck out to me the most.
People still remix that song.
I love that song.
I love that song.
And I actually listened to his album when he came to that festival that year.
It was good too, right? It was a good album.
I liked the album, but he didn't follow up, I guess, with anything great, and he just, faded into oblivion.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It was wild. And then Dua Lipa, I couldn't. She's so beautiful. I think everyone in the audience was like mouth dropped.
I know, I was being completely unfair because so many guys were like, I love her. And I'm like, I loved her first before you. Because I saw her actually at, I think, Bonnaroo 2018. So I think it was like a year or two after she blew up. Because she was still on one of the bigger stages, but she was like at 5 in the Dead, kind of like Benson Boone. So it was like around that time. And I was like, let's go check out this new girl with that like new album out. And when we walked away from that, I'm like, I absolutely love her.
Someone found an old photo of her from South by Southwest.
I saw that.
Yeah. Was it 2015, I think?
Yeah. When like what they said she was performing at small places or something.
Yeah. That was crazy. She looked so young.
Wow.
I was following her Austin extravaganza like all weekend on her Instagrams. Like whoever took her around Austin, like they knew the spots.
Yeah.
The like quintessential Austin spots, Like seeing her in the Don's Depot bathroom, I was like, iconic.
That's iconic.
Like that's great. Me and Dua Lipa took a selfie in the same dingy bathroom at Don's Depot. That's crazy to me.
Well, since we're talking about this and we're still growing this podcast, I can give some people some really good tea.
Tea? Mm-hmm. Do I know this tea?
I wonder if it's going to be out in time. Now I'm going to feel bad if it's not going to be out in time.
What?
You probably don't know.
What?
So Broken Spoke DM'd me.
Okay.
Post Malone's playing this weekend at Coda.
Yeah.
Or no, next weekend. And the 26th. I'm going to my friend's birthday in Fredericksburg, which I'm super excited for. But Post Malone's my number one.
Same.
Broken Spoke said that his guitarist is going to be playing at Broken Spoke that night, Saturday night. So this actually might be out in time. And they can't promise it, but there's a good chance Post Malone's going to show up.
That would be crazy. That is tea. Ooh.
And Dua was just there.
She was at Broken Spoke?
That was like the first. No, she did La Barbecue, then Broken Spoke. She was dancing on the floor with people.
Oh, you're right.
And then Don Zebo.
Wow.
And then she did like somewhere else. I saw her.
I just saw a photo of her at Barton Springs.
Oh, yeah, Barton Springs.
They took her on a boat on Lake Austin. They also took her to, I was like, oh, someone who lives in Austin or knows Austin took her here. Kamori Tatsuya.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah.
Because they reposted it. That's where I saw it.
Yeah, I know. I was like, okay. Like, didn't just take her to Terry Black's, which I saw Dolla actually went to Terry Black's.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. He was like on the patio, like in a cowboy hat, like a normal person.
Oh, that's wild.
I know. Damn, to see Post Malone at Broken Spoke would be sick.
If they say doors are like at 8.
I fear I am just...
If word gets out, you're going to have to get there at 8.
Yeah, there's no way I'll make it.
Yeah. Personally, I would have gone. I would have been there because Post Malone is so important to me. And then also that would have been insane to see him in a small venue.
Yeah. Well, would he perform or would he just hang and dance maybe?
Knowing Post Malone, I wouldn't be surprised if he'd perform.
Man, I feel like we're gonna see a post in a couple weeks, like Post Malone surprises at Broken Spoken, performs for
I know, I'm like, do I ruin my relationship with my friends to go to that? I'm like, sorry, I know it's your birthday, but
literally. And then all these boomers in the audience are like, who's this man with his face tats? No, they better know who he is. Yeah. So Saturday was a great day. Day 3 for me, I actually got in early. And by the way, I didn't have the bungalow like all weekend. I just had it Friday. They invited me, C3 invited me, and my first initial thought was to decline, but I really wanted to see what it was like. I want to know what that 1% experience is sometimes.
I felt like looking back, it was worth it. Like to do the partnership and go.
Yeah. But again, I would never pay for that.
Yeah.
And then day 2 and 3, I was out and about. So day 3, got in early and saw Mr. Wives. I love them. They have been like consistently great for the past like 10 years, like releasing like popular hits, like hits you'll hear in like the mall or Target, you know what I mean? But they've never like crossed that boundary to like superstardom, if that makes sense. Like if you saw them out and about, you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I'm a little mad because I did the Patron Green Room and they were weekend 1.
Oh, yeah.
So they invited me to weekend 2. Yeah.
I think Mr. Wives, I would have preferred to see them. But I love them. So, oh my gosh, when I arrived at day 3, so there's this, something else that's brand new to ACL this year was the La Pachanga taco lineup eatery.
That's right.
That was, I had all like all the top tier taco places in Austin were there, like Con Todo and La Paprika, La Santa Barbacha, which we love. So Veracruz, like so many, Discada, and they were all in the same place, and I didn't know where to find them. So I literally found one of those people that's holding that big ass sign that says ACL expert, and I'm like, hey, where can I find the La Pachanga taco eatery place? And she was like, oh, it's at ACL Eats, like down by the Tito stage. And I was like, are you sure? Because I don't think they're down there. And she was like, no, I'm sure. And I was like, okay, and you're the expert. So me and my boyfriend made our way down there, and the only taco spot really down there is Quantos Tacos, which is also amazing.
Right. I forgot that they're there.
Yeah, but I guess they had that spot secured from last year, so
Okay.
they weren't with the others. But it was not there, and I was just like, I had to find a map, and I found out it was on the other side of the park by the IHG Hotels stage.
Yes. Okay. I actually think I did see it.
Yes, they were actually
near the
good.
Tiki Bar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I say that the food at ACL Fest is not the best, but I did think those tacos I had, La Santa Barbacha always does like amazing work, and they were actually really good there. And I was just like, damn, I really went all over this fucking park because an ACL expert gave me the wrong directions. So maybe I should be the ACL expert.
I know. That does drive me a little crazy. You don't know how many people have said to me, where's the tiki tent? Because they put it in the back corner there.
Oh, by the hotel's stage. Yeah.
So like most people just don't go. And every time I go, it's empty, which I love because I can just walk up and get a drink. But they could also be selling a lot more drinks.
Was every drink like $20?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you get to keep the tiki glass?
No, that's $50. The tiki glass is $30, or you get the plastic cup for $20.
Oh,
so then it's 30 plus the 20. And then you can keep it. It's a really cool souvenir if you don't mind spending an extra $30. But then you have to carry it around the entire festival. So I don't like that. But, you know, you go to these other places and they're like, oh, what do you want? You want a tequila soda? You want a Diet Coke and whiskey? Whereas if you really are a cocktail person, you can go to the tiki tent and get a legit cocktail. So I say if you're going to spend $20 or close to 20, might as well go there.
I will say I thought they had a pretty good legit cocktail at the bars this year, which was the Agua Sol mango drinks.
I didn't get the chance to try that.
I was drinking those all weekend because I did not see those on the menu last year.
Okay.
And I was like, you know, I took a chance. I was like, that sounds good, but let's see how good it actually is. And it was delicious. So that was my go-to drink all weekend. Again, I'm so grateful that they let cocktails be a thing starting last year. And also in the VIP area, they used to like not let the VIP members leave with their drinks, and now you can. So we would like go in, get 2 drinks each, and then we'd like leave and take them out to our friends in GA. Like we were the heroes
Yeah.
of the weekend, like free drinks.
It's funny. I was gonna even give my friends my bands to go into Cabana Club or the Cabana spot, and I was sitting there. I think it was like day 2, and somebody comes over to me and they're like, "Who are you?" And they were questioning me like being in the T-Mobile, and I had to give my name, and they went and checked like, "We're so sorry. Like we realize you're here." And I'm like, "Am I not supposed to be with the rich people? Do I look out of place right now?"
Okay, now that you say that, they did that at the bungalows with me and my friends
No
too.
way.
Yes, because it's super easy to pull off your wristband, give it to a friend,
So
and then
maybe
sneak
people
them
were
in.
doing that.
I'm probably because at the bungalows, this guy came up to each of us and had to make sure we all had our own wristband, not that someone was missing one.
Okay.
They, I guess, that extra VIP area was like really cracking down
Yeah.
and made sure like you better belong here. So yeah, I get why you decided not to. Speaking of VIP, I did think this year it was interesting that they decided to raise their prices for a ticket, but took away something that entices people to get VIP, which was the free food.
Mm-hmm.
They had food in the VIP areas, but you had to pay for it. And I'm just like, how can you raise the price and take away something?
Exactly.
Shrinkflation.
I don't know. It's like $1,700 for a VIP ticket.
Yeah, about 1760.
So as somebody who does VIP all the time, and I used to do this before I was even doing Instagram, I'm a big fan of it just because of the better viewing areas and the air-conditioned bathrooms. I hate using the porta potties. But one thing that ACL does compared to other festivals that I don't like is their sections are like off to the side in the back for the VIP area. Whereas I've gone to like Firefly Festival and they kind of like split the stage to
Yeah.
VIP. So you can show up at Chappell last minute.
Yeah.
And the main crowd is like super far back. But the VIP, you can just walk through the entrance and walk almost right up to the front of the stage. But they don't have that at ACL. They just have that side like big tent area to like watch from.
Yeah, they only allow if you're media with the actual nice camera or the platinum badge.
Yeah, which
I
is like
believe.
$5,000.
Is it?
I think it's like $5,000.
That's insane. Yeah, I thought it was. I don't think VIP in this sense could be worth it. Especially if you don't drink a lot like me. So I'm gonna do the math here.
That's a good point.
VIP is 1760. GA is 380. So subtract, and it comes out to 1380. So let's say a drink is $20. So 1380 divided by 20. You need to drink 69 drinks the whole weekend.
For to just match that part of it.
The whole weekend. So let's say that's 23 drinks per day
Wow.
to break even.
Yeah.
Do you think you would drink that many?
Never. I mean, I'm sure part of the price obviously goes to the air-conditioned bathrooms.
Yes.
And you're paying a little exclusivity for like the
view.
viewing. But once again, I went to Blink-182 weekend 2, and I was in the VIP, and I couldn't get by anybody. Like I couldn't even see the stage.
Yeah.
So like to me, if you're gonna be VIP, I better be able to comfortably just like find a good view.
Yeah.
So that's the only downfall.
That was me during Chappell Roan.
Just kinda look around people.
Yeah, and I got there over 2 hours early.
No way.
Yes, and it was already packed, and I was like, I ended up just watching the screen, but
Wow.
still, I loved that set. That was obviously my favorite set of the entire weekend. But yeah, I definitely could not drink 23 drinks a day to get my money's worth, There's also GA Plus, which ACL offers, which is $775. And this gets you, they have a GA Plus lounge, which also has AC bathrooms. You don't get free drinks, no free food, no viewing deck area. So you really just get the AC bathrooms and the private lounge
So
area.
you just can like relax every once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't work for me just because I don't even go in that long. I guess if you're somebody that goes in from like 12 to 10 or 12 to 11, then fine. But if you're like me that goes in at like 5 every day, I don't need a lounge to like sit around for 2 hours.
Yeah. And personally, I don't think the porta potties are as bad as they used to be. They flush now. Back in the day when they didn't flush, it really was hell. Like,
Oh, I didn't know that. That
oh
they
yeah.
flush.
No, it used to be like normal whole porta potties
Yeah.
and they all stunk and the whole area stunk. And I'm so grateful that they leveled up and
I'm a
got
big
one set
germaphobe
flush.
too, so like I like to wash my hands, so having the air conditioned bathrooms, it's nice to be able to do that.
Yeah. Um, it is wild how they've increased the prices so much
Was it
lately.
just me or did it feel like it was more packed this year?
Oh, I agree. It definitely felt so packed. And people were like, they definitely oversold.
Yeah.
Although they did say that last year, but this year, especially seeing the crowds for like Dua and Chappell, I'm like, this is a lot of people.
And that was like usually I could just walk from stage to stage pretty easily. This year it was like a struggle to get to the next stage. And we got the
Yeah.
jungle late.
Oh,
And if you weren't in the
same.
crowd, yeah, we were like,
I was pissed.
we walked away weekend 2 because we were like, we're just too far out.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Did you feel like weekend 1 or weekend 2 was more packed?
I was going to say weekend 1 before Sunday, but then Sunday came and it was Chapel Day. And it felt like the same as weekend 1. But Friday and Saturday of weekend 2 didn't seem as crazy as Friday and Saturday of weekend 1.
Oh, okay.
So maybe more people were in town, maybe more
Interesting.
tickets were sold. I don't know.
I know those Sunday day only tickets were definitely everybody was using those. Also, I noticed scalpers. It was way more expensive this
Yeah.
year. But I don't know if that's because my friends only tried on the West End going under the Mopac Bridge. I told them, I'm like, you need to go to the Barton Springs entrance. That's where all the scalpers are. But here there was only like a couple, and they just wanted one Saturday pass. And for a 3-day wristband, they were like, all I have is a 3-day, and it's for, I think they quoted like 800. And I'm like, that is insane
That's
because
insane.
it's Saturday right now.
Yeah.
And you're offering a 3-day for 800. So it's really a 2-day? Absolutely not. They didn't even try to haggle. So
Yeah, they were definitely limited this year, or maybe it was just a supply and demand thing. But even on Barton Springs, I heard prices were crazy.
I know. I really wonder if ACL switched Chapel to Sundays, like as
To
a
help spread it out.
yeah,
Yeah.
or as like a marketing technique to like sell more tickets.
I wouldn't be surprised because that people are going Saturday no matter what because they're off on Sunday to rest.
Right.
Like it's always the most sold day.
Yeah.
And then now you push people to also want to go Sunday.
I know. And I don't know if people who only bought Saturdays were offered a refund, but my guess is not. Like, and so you just had to buy a Sunday pass.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Did you have any celebrity encounters at ACL?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jared from Supernatural. I always forget how you say his last name. I'm
Padalecki.
Padalecki. Okay. But I'm a big fan. I've watched Supernatural. I know he was in like a Western show at one point. He lives in Austin, Texas. He went to school at your school, was it? Was I talking to you?
Yeah, he went to my high school
That's
in
wild.
San Antonio. Which
Okay.
is so random. But I
Yeah.
didn't know him because he was like 4 years older than me. So
Okay.
yeah, I just missed him.
Well,
but
if you want, I can introduce you guys because now I know him. So it was after the Dolla set, which is what was that Sunday as well of the first week.
Yes.
So he was in the VIP or the platinum, I should say, in the front of the stage. And the set ended. We all dispersed, and I just like waited for everybody to leave so then I can just walk across to leave the festival. And he was with a group of like 5 people, but I noticed him. And I just gave Kelsey my phone. I'm like, I need you to have this. Be ready to take a picture. And she's like, what? Why? What's going on? I'm like, act cool, act cool.
She's so funny.
So then, like, he actually had like the 4 guys around him talking to him. So I didn't want to like split them open and be like, can I have a
Imagine.
picture with you?
Oh my God.
Because I want to be cool
I would
about
have,
it.
if I were Kelsey, I would have run away if you
I-
did that. I don't know him.
So eventually they dispersed, and I just had a second, so I walked over. Can I have a picture with you? And looking back, I felt like so silly because I'm usually really good with celebrity encounters. If it's not somebody I care about, I'm not even gonna go up to them. But somebody like a Post Malone, somebody like this, where like I watched his TV show, I was like really excited to meet him. Plus, I know he's big in Austin, so that was pretty cool. So anyway, walked up, a complete sweetheart. he was like, yeah, oh yeah, absolutely, we can take a picture. Put his arm around me, and I was like, so I do reviewing cocktails and bars in Austin, Texas. It's my full-time job. He's like, are you serious? That's the coolest job to have. And then I got like a little nervous because I also didn't want to bother him by taking a picture. So I was like, so anyway, bye. And I actually looked back at his face, and he was like, oh, okay, see ya. Like, he was ready to sit there and talk with me for a little bit.
Aww.
And I was just like, oh, he probably doesn't want to be bothered. But overall, like, super nice guy.
I love that.
Yeah.
I see him once a year. I swear to God. Like
just
randomly.
out and about?
Yeah. Normally during South by.
Okay.
Like he be out.
See, that's what I'm saying. Looking back, I should have just chatted with him because I might
Yeah,
bump into him
you'll probably
again.
see him again. You
Yeah.
will. He's lived here a long time. That's so random because I just started watching Gilmore Girls from the beginning, and he's in it when he was, I think, 19 or 20. So yeah, it's so bizarre, like these worlds colliding.
I know.
But he seems like a really nice guy. I've only heard like nice encounters like that. Hasn't Leon Bridges been out and about around the town?
So he just did, well, I don't know. Did I talk about this on the podcast? I don't know if I did.
Oh yeah, you didn't.
But just to give a quick recap, he did 3 days at the Continental Club, which was crazy because his team emailed me right before, and they were asking if I wanted to do an interview with him, like a quick reel to post to announce that he was doing 3 days at the Continental and then he's going to be at ACL. And I was like, this doesn't feel right. Like, there's no way that they're asking me, this small person, to do a Leon Bridges interview. But I'm still new to this whole world. So, and then the next morning was the day of the show, and they emailed me back. They're like, he needs to rest his vocals for all the performances, so we're not going to do the interview anymore. And I was like, oh.
Bummer.
But we still want to invite you to the show. So I got to go, and it was at the Continental Club. Only 180 people can fit there, so super small and intimate. And to me, that was like a top Austin highlight in my entire life.
Dude, I can't imagine. I love that venue, first of all. So
Yeah.
to see like one of my favorite artists there, like incredible.
It really was incredible. But then when I saw him at ACL, I was like, sorry, I saw him at a better place. Like,
Was it like the same performance?
pretty close, but it just felt so different because you're just
sure.
watching him in this big crowd.
Yeah. I saw where you were in the crowd. You were like front row.
Oh, yeah, I could, like,
to
grab
the
his
side.
foot.
I know. That's crazy. Yeah, people lined up for that.
Yeah.
Like early.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So there was a girl I talked to. She was like, I was sixth in line, and I came at 3 o'clock. And then he came on at 10.
Oh. I saw someone say they got in line like right after they got out of work. So around like 5:15, 5:30.
Okay.
And they said they were like the 10th person not get in. Like they were 10 people away from getting in.
That would like crush me.
I know. I was like, I could not imagine. The last time I waited hours in line for someone was a South by show. It must have been like 2017. Matt and Kim they were playing at Antone's, and I love them. But if someone had told me, hey, you're about to wait like 4 hours to get into the show, and you're only going to catch like the end of the set, I would have walked away. But not to bring up South by while we're talking about ACL, but that's the bullshit about South by is that
You don't know.
you don't know how close you are. Because I swear I was like 10 people away from the door, but it was capped. So no one was leaving. And my friend kept being like, dude, we're next. Like, they're going to let us in. I swear, we're next. And we held on for way too long. And so I just really feel for those people that tried to get into Leon and didn't make it, because waiting that long and not getting it, it's like, all right.
I know. And some people complained after about it, but it's like, I guess that's why they did 3 shows. And you knew, like, he's one of the headliners for ACL.
Yes.
So it was going to be hard to get into this,
Yes.
And
They did invite me to that, but I knew I would see him at ACL. And I've already seen him at ACL Live, which is also kind of
cool.
an intimate venue. And I was close to him. So I didn't feel too much FOMO, but I do love him in that
Yeah.
venue. So I saw everyone enjoying it, and I was like, yay. He was great at ACL. I love how so many big artists wore Texas UT gear over the
people
weekend.
love it here. That's what we forget, because you live here and sometimes people complain about people moving here and how they feel. But when you talk about people from the outside, everybody who visits thinks this is like such a special place.
Especially a lot of them come from LA, where they're just used to everyone trying to get a piece of them and, hovering over them. I'm sure that gets so annoying. Not that Austin's perfect, but I'm sure like most of us when we see a celebrity, we're not all gonna like hoard and
Yes.
obsess and annoy them. So yeah, I think coming to Austin, they get like a little vacation themselves, as Dua Lipa showed in her Instagram.
Yeah, she was
all week.
enjoying herself.
I know. I feel like she had a blast. And I saw Don's Depot made her a custom UT jersey.
Oh, yeah.
And I knew it was from them because they had a patch on her jersey that said Don's Depot. And I was like, that is the most clever marketing y'all have come up with. That's so clever. And yeah, Dolla wore
he did
UT
one.
jersey, Leon Bridges. That was the main
Which this is coming out now. This is going to come out after, but we're going to the game this weekend, both of us, right?
I think I am. It's still TBD.
Okay.
Like the game.
And this is the biggest game of the season, if I'm not mistaken, right? It's Georgia?
Yes. ESPN College Game Day is going to be there Saturday morning, and I get to go and be like behind the scenes, on the scene.
That's so cool.
So I can't wait to come back next week and give the tea about everything that happened. Oh, guess what time I have to be there?
Super early.
No, literally, they were like, so it's kind of early. And I was like, oh, like 8 a.m. And they were like, 6 a.m. And I was like,
why? Isn't the game like later in the day?
So the show, College Game Day, the show on ESPN starts at 7 a.m. But they need me there early to like prep, I guess, and show some setting up scenes, I guess. And I'm just like, like
I hope you're on TV.
I might be.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be cool?
That'd be so cool.
They did this at Alabama versus Texas, I think, a few weeks ago at Alabama, and another influencer girly got to do it, what I'm going to be doing, and she got to be on TV.
Cool.
So I'm like, interview me. So yeah, I can't wait to come back in.
I'm going with Still Austin. They're actually one of the sponsors of I guess, the university, because they do a pre-concert for every home game.
What?
A lot of people don't know this. It's a completely free concert before every home game. And it's at a stage. I think Tito's is also there, if I'm not mistaken.
It's like behind the stadium, right?
And they've had big acts there before.
They had Fits and the Tantrums.
Yeah.
I went to that. Yeah. I didn't know that was by Still.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so they're the ones that like work with getting the artists and everything. And then they also have a like bar area in the stadium. It's on one of the higher floors, but like at halftime they'll do a DJ. You can grab drinks and then go back to sit down.
Anthony, can you ask Still Austin to get me into the A&M game?
Oh, I'm sure they would be open to it for sure.
Bro,
they'll just want like a reel of your like experience.
And I'll do it because that's the biggest game of the season.
Okay.
UT versus A&M, which also happens to be my boyfriend's alma mater. So we're like,
cool.
We're like butting heads there. But yeah, we haven't played them in years, and the last time we played them, UT won, so we got to say that like, oh, we won forever.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, off topic. That's amazing.
No, they would definitely have you. I'm like almost positive.
We'll talk.
And then I know the other thing. Last time they did this, they brought me onto the field, and I have a feeling we're gonna do that again.
Ooh,
especially for a big game.
That'd be so cool.
Yeah, so get to see Bevo.
Okay, well, I can't wait to hear what we get into this weekend.
Yeah,
and
we're
we'll relay it next time.
off track, but
I know
it's just a lot. October is crazy.
October is crazy. It's the best month of the year.
It really is.
Oh crap! It's also F1 this weekend.
Yep.
I'm gonna be there Sunday.
You are?
Yeah, I forgot.
Everybody's like, "Oh, are you going?" And I'm like, "Well, no, but it's F1, like, so that means things are happening."
Oh, 100%.
So it's like F1 is almost like South by, where there's all these pop-ups, there's like concerts, there's things happening just because F1's happening.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if like this week some random brands are going to be like, "Oh, we're putting this together, like please come." And
yeah.
I'm like, "Oh my god." But this concludes our ACL Fest recap. Anything else to add?
No. Dua Lipa was incredible. Chappell Roan was incredible. I mean, it was a fun year. The lineup still wasn't one of my favorites of all time.
Really? I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, just personally.
Can I just say about Chappell, I could tell Homegirl's depressed.
Yeah.
And I would not be surprised if like this may be like one of her last, not performances ever, but I just feel like she's going to take a huge step back from the scene after like she committed to this ACL and she was like, I'm not going to cancel again because people were pissed at me. So she did it, which I'm so grateful she didn't cancel. Love her so much. But I just wouldn't be surprised if after these weekends, she's like, all right, y'all aren't going to hear or see. I am a ghost until probably next year.
I can see that.
So
I think she said that was her last show of her tour.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
So she's definitely not, I don't think she's going to show her face until we might see her in March.
That's wild.
I know, but ACL Fest, it was so much fun. Truly one of our favorite back-to-back weekends of the entire year. Can't wait until next year. We'll see the lineup again in May. We'll have our own predictions, I'm sure, like come next April. So yeah, and I think that wraps it up.
Cool.
You can find the Austin Pod on TikTok and Instagram. You can find Anthony at the ATX Drinker. I am at 512 Bites. And thank you all so much for listening. We had a blast with this episode, and we can't wait to be back for the next one.
See you next week.
See ya.